Ever heard of a system so smart it stops mistakes before they happen? Meet Poka Yoke, a brilliant concept from Japan's manufacturing world, designed to eliminate human error and boost quality. We're talking about transforming your workflow and protecting your business from costly defects. The best part? It's something you might already know, like a USB connector or microwave. You're just unaware.
Have you ever tried to plug in a USB the wrong way, or left your car in gear and the engine refused to start? Congratulations! You've already experienced Poka Yoke in real life.
So make sure to watch until the end as we dive into one of the most genius concepts to ever come out of Japan's manufacturing world. Poka Yoke. We'll be going over the steps in detail using our zero-defect pizzeria example. The phrase Poka Yoke translates to avoid mistakes. Poka means an unintentional error, and yokaru means to avoid. This genius idea was born in the 1960s. All credit goes to Shigeo Shingo, a legendary industrial engineer who helped revolutionize the Toyota production system.
Poka means inadvertent mistake, and yoke means to prevent. So Poka Yoke means mistake-proofing. It's a simple idea from lean manufacturing that prevents mistakes before they happen.
Initially, Shingo called it Baka Yoke, which meant foolproofing. However, he later realized that the term might sound disrespectful to the hardworking employees on the factory floor. And so he changed it to Poka Yoke. His plan? He wanted to build a system that spots mistakes before they turn into disasters. Shingo knew the difference between a mistake and a defect. A mistake is more like a human slip-up. You probably forgot to tighten a screw or forgot to place an order. Things like these can often be caught and fixed right away. But a defect? That's when a mistake goes unnoticed and ends up in the customer's hands. The damage? Lost money, wasted materials, and unhappy clients. But this is where Poka Yoke comes in handy. It's all about stopping the worst from happening, a built-in safety net. What you need to know is that there are two common types of Poka Yoke: control and warning, each serving a different purpose. Control Poka Yoke works to completely block the error from happening. Meanwhile, warning Poka Yoke alerts its operator that there's something wrong, regardless. Poka Yoke is the quiet hero working behind the scenes to boost productivity. The best part? You don't need million-dollar machines or some high-tech wizardry. Poka Yoke solutions are pretty simple. The 6 Poka Yoke principles. Before we get to practical implementation, you need to understand the 6 fundamental Poka Yoke principles. Why? Well, these form a structured approach to prevent errors, and the best part, it works in any industry. The first principle is elimination. It's best when errors can't occur at all. You design processes so that error sources are completely removed. Automated systems eliminate human errors entirely. In our pizzeria, this would mean an automatic sauce dispensing machine instead of manual application. Always the exact right amount, evenly distributed. Next up is prevention, which means stopping errors before they happen. Basically, you install warning systems and controls that prevent critical actions. Think of a software that asks before you delete important data. In the pizzeria, this could be a warning signal that sounds when someone tries to use dough that hasn't risen long enough. Then there's replacement, which includes replacing error-prone processes with more reliable ones. Barcode scanners, instead of manual entry, drastically reduce typing errors. In the pizzeria, you can replace manual weighing with pre-portioned ingredient bags, so there's always the right amount without having to estimate. The 4th principle is facilitation, where you make correct execution as easy as possible. Intuitive interfaces and clear instructions prevent confusion. In the pizzeria, different spoon sizes for different ingredients can be used. Large spoons for cheese and small ones for spices. This automatically ensures proper portioning. The 5th principle is detection, which means quickly identify errors when they occur. Control systems report problems immediately before small issues become big ones. Just like our weight sensors at the sauce station, they immediately detect when too little, too much, or no sauce is applied. And finally, the last principle is mitigation, aka damage control. You minimize the impact of errors with backup systems and contingency plans. In the pizzeria, final quality check before delivery catches errors that made it through the production process. These principles work like a cascade. The earlier you intervene in this process, the more effective your system becomes. Elimination is better than prevention. Prevention is better than detection. How to use Poka Yoke. Now that you know the principles, here's how to use it. Step 1, identify risky process steps. You start off by identifying the steps where mistakes can lead to defects or quality problems. Past problems, quality reports, feedback from employees, and some good old brainstorming is going to help you out here. At our zero defect pizzeria example, let's say the managers received a few complaints from customers about the sauce being too thin. Other times they complained it was too thick or it wasn't there at all. If he chooses to address this problem, he's going to focus on the assembly station where the sauce is applied. Step 2, analyze and identify root causes. The next step is answering the why. Why do these mistakes happen? Is it the employee's fault or is it the equipment? At our zero defect pizzeria, the employee could be messing up the sauce application, or maybe the cook making the sauce is messing up the consistency. Step 3, design solutions to prevent errors. Once you have your answer, it's time to do the actual work, coming up with solutions. The few things you need to keep in mind are that solutions should be easy and inexpensive. They must be included in the process and should guarantee that the error does not leave the process. The type of error is going to help you choose what type of solution you should implement. In our zero defect pizzeria example, the manager sets up an error detection system with weight sensors and an alarm that goes off if the sauce is too thin, too thick, or not applied at all. Step 4, test and refine. After you have your solution, it's time to test and refine. Place the Poka Yoke mechanism and let it work for a few days. During this time, take feedback from your coworkers. Does the solution work? Is the error rate going down? You need to determine the effectiveness. In our zero defect pizzeria, the manager keeps the sensor on for a few days and observes if the number of customer complaints goes down. Step 5, standardize. Once you're satisfied with the effectiveness of the solution, you can go ahead and standardize it, aka you can implement the Poka Yoke mechanism across your business. In our example, if the manager doesn't receive customer complaints for a week or so, he can go ahead and place the sensor at all of his branches. But apart from the steps, you also need to know that there are a lot of devices available. Different devices for Poka Yoke. Now let's look at the actual devices that make Poka Yoke work. There are 6 main categories, each solving different types of problems. Checklists prevent errors of omission. They ensure nothing gets forgotten in complex processes. Think airplane pre-flight checks or surgical procedures. In our zero defect pizzeria, it would be a checklist ensuring every pizza gets sauce, cheese, and toppings before going into the oven. Then there's counters and timers that track actions and monitor process duration. They make sure the right number of steps happen for the right amount of time. In our pizzeria example, a timer that beeps when the dough has risen for exactly 2 hours, preventing underrisen or overrisen dough would work. You can also use vision systems that inspect parts for defects using cameras and AI. They catch visual problems humans might miss. In the pizzeria, the manager can install a camera system that checks if pizza toppings are evenly distributed before baking. There are sensors too that detect and monitor physical conditions like weight, temperature, or pressure. They immediately detect when the sauce application is wrong. You can check out guide pins to ensure precise alignment in assembly processes. They physically guide parts into the correct position. The pizzeria version would be shaped pizza pans that only fit in the oven one way, ensuring even baking every time. Finally, you can check out error detection and alarms that provide immediate feedback when something goes wrong. Visual or audible alerts stop problems in their tracks. Meanwhile, limit switches stop motion at designated positions, preventing over-travel or under-travel errors. Benefits. At first glance, Poka Yoke seems like it demands a lot of effort, but trust us, the benefits make it worth it. You'll be looking at significant quality improvement and customer satisfaction. How's that? Well, by implementing this system, you're reducing the number of defects right from the get-go. So that means you'll be looking at fewer returns and customer complaints. That goes a long way in improving your brand's image and reputation. What's more, by implementing NTing Poka Yoke, you're pretty much standardizing your production process. But apart from results, you're also making your workplace safer for your employees with Poka Yoke. Using any of the devices helps you reduce the probability of accidents, injuries, and equipment damage, which can be devastating for workers and your business alike. Besides, happy employees mean smoother operations and better product delivery. Limitations. That said, Poka Yoke does come with its challenges. One of the most tempting traps is going overboard. High-tech sensors might look appealing, but they aren't always the better choice. In fact, over-engineered solutions might be expensive and confusing for operators to build. It's a lot of hassle when a much simpler fix exists. So don't be roped into the world of fancy gadgets. Keep it lean, Low-tech, low-cost, and simple. You should know that Poka Yoke is not 100% foolproof. You might still run into defects, especially if your production process involves a lot of variables. Poka Yoke addresses common errors, so for more complex problems, you might need better quality control methods. Finally, there's the maintenance headache. Sensors, counters, and interlocks are great, but it's important that they work too. A defect in these devices may lead to false positives, missed errors, or even total system failures. The solution? Set up a maintenance schedule. It should be a part of the process rather than an afterthought. Tip for using Poka Yoke. Apart from that, here are some tips to make sure you don't run into problems. First up, remember to keep it simple and practical. Poka Yoke devices are most effective when simple, inexpensive, and easy to use. Avoid overcomplicating solutions. Don't hesitate to mix it up either. Use a mix of contact, fixed value, and motion step devices where appropriate to cover different error types. There's no one-size-fits-all solution here. Be creative as you want to be. More importantly, don't forget your employees. Involve them in the brainstorming process. You'll be surprised by the practical insights you receive. It's definitely going to improve usability and acceptance. Speaking of which, don't forget to train your workers. Educate teams on the purpose and use of Poka Yoke devices to maximize benefit. Your workers will be the ones working with the devices, so it's important they know how to operate them. At the end of the day, Poka Yoke can change your business for the better. However, you need to follow the steps and carefully choose a device that can improve workflow.